2016 was a record year for Irish tourism, and we can only hope that 2017 will be just as good. Irish people excel when it comes to hospitality, and that's why we're all here tonight, in the lovely surroundings of Medley, Dublin's newest private dining experience, to celebrate all that is great in this business. And you're all very welcome, as we said, so without further ado, I'll hand you over to Conor, who'll get the ball rolling.
Thank you, Arwen, and hello, everybody. So here we are again. The AA has been around for a long time, over 100 years, in fact. We began in the early years of the 20th century as a body to represent the needs of what was then an eccentric new group of enthusiasts, motorists. So we started fixing cars when they broke down, something that we did 110,000 times last year. And motorists back in the day also needed to know where there were roadside lodgings to be found. So the AA undertook to find out for them. And there was a grand old gentleman by the name of Sir Stenson Cook, who was the AA's first secretary. And he decided that the AA would physically inspect hotels, and those that were deemed to be good enough for AA members got listed in the AA handbook. So looking at his bottle of brandy sometime before the Great War, he decided that the star quality rating for cognac would be just the thing to speak to the common man. So the AA invented the 1 to 5 star rating system that is now in use the whole world over. And here in Ireland, we've been at it since 1912. We have watched with pride as the Irish hospitality industry has grown to become genuine world leaders. There are some things that Ireland truly has a talent for, and hospitality is one of them. Now, the AA does operate to tough standards. We know that. Our hotel partners certainly appreciate it. And that's why AA standards are so respected internationally. They're completely independent and unbiased, and they never deviate. When we mark a hotel or a guest house down as being of high quality, you can be certain of it.
The AA inspection team don't just look at the facilities and the front of the house. They don't just check the bedrooms and the bars. Every single aspect of the guest experience is assessed. And in this day and age, one of the most important things is the quality of the food served in the restaurant. The AA has watched with delight over the last 15 or more years as the standards in Irish cuisine have increased out of all recognition. In earlier times, when you thought of excellence in cooking and food, you might have been inclined to think countries like Italy or France, but Ireland is quietly climbing those ropes. We are taking food far more seriously, and we are getting much better at it. The AA awards rosettes for culinary excellence, and every hotel that we inspect has their food offering assessed. A single AA rosette is an achievement to be proud of. Some 50 AA listed properties have achieved that standard. This year we have almost another 50 restaurants that have reached the 2 rosette standard, which is an exceptional number. It tells you that very fine standards of cuisine are now offered in top quality hotels all across Ireland. 3 or more AA rosettes is very much the elite level and reflects food specialists operating restaurants that are internationally known. In Ireland, we have 2 restaurants operating at the 3 rosette level, and they are the Lady Helen at Mount Juliet and Gregan's Castle in Ballyvaughan. We also have 2 restaurants operating at 4 AA rosette level, the Cliff House restaurant at Ardmore in Mushford and restaurant Patrick Gibault at the Merrion Hotel in Dublin.
AA's Rosette Standard restaurants. Congratulations, one and all. Full of us, why not? Full of us, why not? We try to be reasonably informal around here. We even tolerate heckles within reason. So sometimes we're fussy and sometimes we're not. But when we inspect hotels, then we're fussy. The standard is exacting. And at every level of star category or classification, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 star, there will be individual hotels that stand out from their peers as being excellent. And these are selected by the AA inspectors and are recognised with the award of Red Stars. An AA Red Star denotes a hotel that is operating beyond its classification. These are places where you can expect a little bit more of everything. More comfort, more facilities, more extras, more attention. From 2 to 5 stars, these are the very best Irish hotels. And while every AA hotel will meet high standards, these are a cut above. This year we have 15 of them, the AA Red Star hotels. Full of us.
Well, the AA invented the 5-star rating, as Conor said earlier, and when the AA calls a hotel 5-star, you can be sure we mean it. The AA rating is one that is published the whole world over, literally. and international visitors will rely on it being an independent and robust assessment. There are not that many of them, and most of the well-known international brands have the 5-star awards, but I am very pleased to say that this year, for the first time in quite a few years, we actually have 2 new awards of 5 AA stars. 2 new Irish hotels join the elite. Congratulations to the Marker Hotel in Dublin and the Conrad Hotel in Dublin.
Two new 5 stars to the Pantheon. Congratulations. So that should whet our appetite for the main awards. So I'd like to ask Minister O'Donovan to join us on the stage, please. The Minister is going to officially present the awards for us, and I hope that we can persuade him to say a few words to us a little bit later. Now, we've been at this a long time, as you know, over 100 years, so we've had professional inspectors looking at accommodation, hospitality and food, the length and breadth of the country, and once a year we get to dress up nicely and present an award to those that we consider to be the very best in the business. We have wonderful hotels in this country, you'd be very proud of them. And I must say, I love hearing a foreign accent in an Irish hotel because you know they're going to be impressed by us. I think we all carry a little bit of that around with us, don't we? We all like to do our Fáilte Ireland bit and make the effort when we're talking to visitors. And you would certainly be proud of Ireland's guest houses and B&Bs. These smaller, more intimate establishments allow visitors to get a little closer to us and to enjoy Irish hospitality in a slightly more intimate setting. So this year, when we came to name the best guest accommodation in Ireland, we looked for hospitality, warmth, helpfulness and friendliness in a beautiful Irish setting. Our search took us south, to the county of Cork and the spectacular scenery and unspoilt nature of the south coast and the fishing village of Baltimore. This year's AA Guest Accommodation of the Year is Rolf's Country House of Baltimore, County Cork. And I know we have brother and sister team Johannes and Frederica Hafner up here to accept the awards. As discussed, these are the West Cork Hafners.
Situated on a hill above the fishing village of Baltimore, these 400-year-old stone buildings have been successfully converted by the Bruckner family. There are 10 traditionally furnished ensuite bedrooms in the annex, a cosy bar with an open fire, and a rustic restaurant on 2 levels. Dinner is served nightly during the high season and at weekends in the winter. The menu features quality meats, artisan cheeses. The fish landed at the busy pier nearby, and is a lovely place to sit. This is a lovely place to stay, and the hosts are very welcoming.
Congratulations. Ross Country House AA Guest Accommodation of the Year.
So next we have the AA Courtesy and Care Award. With a background in the hospitality industry myself, I believe this award is exceptionally important. It reflects the hard work and attention given by each member of staff in any given establishment. This award is for all those who go the extra mile, those who can make a bad day great, who are not just courteous, mannerly and attentive, but who are also kind, caring and conscientious workers. It takes an exceptional team to make a great hotel. And that's why this year's AA Courtesy and Care Award goes to all the staff of the Talbot Hotels to Lorgan in County Dublin. We'd like to invite Darragh O'Neill to come up and accept this award on behalf of his team.
The Talbot Hotels to Lorgan is situated on the southern outskirts of the city, close to UCD, the shopping centre and the RTE studios. Comfortable public areas include the spacious lobby, the Pershal Sage restaurant, and Brass, a new brasserie bar serving quality food throughout the day. Bedrooms and suites come in a range of styles and sizes, all well appointed and comfortable. There are extensive air-conditioned banqueting and conferencing facilities and a compact gym. Generous parking to the rear, and public transport makes it handy to get into the city centre. Congratulations, the Talbot Hotel. And we can all agree they're a mighty good-looking group, aren't they? Well done, the Talbot Hotel. And so we come to the big one, the award for the AA Hotel of the Year. This is our supreme accolade, and it is never bestowed lightly. Over the years, it's an award that has been held with pride by some magnificent establishments that are known around the world. The AA inspectors are not easy to please. We operate to very, very particular standards, we think the toughest in the industry. You can't apply for an AA award, you can't nominate yourself, and you can't phone a friend. You can't bump your way up the pecking order. You could try buying Arwen flowers, I suppose. It might help, you never know. But every hotel that is listed by the AA is personally inspected by the AA. They're all considered, but even though AA hotels tend to be at the quality end and tend to be supreme establishments with great passion, there are only a small few that can ever aspire to the top award. And we know that for the next year, we will represent their brand and they will represent ours. In guidebooks, online, throughout Ireland, across the UK, across Europe and around the world, this hotel will carry the mark of supreme quality and can with some justification describe it as the year's best hotel in Ireland. So this year we're honouring a hotel and an iconic location that entails the very best of Irish hospitality. It's an old hotel and a new one. Old in that the location has been globally renowned for many years, for centuries really. Young in that custody passed to new owners some 4 years ago. In that time, they've made enormous investments and strides in the facilities and the grounds and the rooms and the public areas. More than that, though, they've made the hotel an integral part of the local community. It's a 5-star hotel that also manages to be an intimate and friendly place for people of the area who are rightly very proud of it. Steeped in history for centuries, but looking to the future, the AA Hotel of the Year for 2017 is Ashford Castle, Con County Mayo. Congratulations to the team at Ashford Castle. I know Niall Wexford is here to accept the award.
Dating from 1228, this magnificent castle is set in over 350 acres of rolling parklands, occupying a stunning position on the edge of Loch Carr, and has recently completed a multi-million refurbishment. Bedrooms and suites vary in style, but all benefit from a pleasing combination of character, charm and modern comfort. Dinner in the elegant George V dining room is a treat with creative cookery of seasonal ingredients. The hotel offers an extensive range of both indoor and outdoor leisure pursuits, including falconry, golf, shooting, fishing and an equestrian centre. Well done.
Well, so let the record show a thumping great victory for Mayo in Dublin. Well done to Niall and his team and his owners, the Red Carnation Group, who've put so much into it. And I hope we can persuade Niall to say a few words to us now.
Thank you very much, Conor. And actually, coming from Limerick and living in Mayo, I suppose it's a complete lost cause. It's a huge, huge pleasure to stand up here to represent the almost, well, over 300 team members that work in Ashford Castle day in and day out to deliver a very unique level of Irish hospitality to our guests. I suppose I've been very, very lucky and fortunate to lead the team there for just almost 15 years. I had a lot more hair and a lot less grey hair when I started, but I suppose that's the way life goes. And I can tell you, and really from working with them for so many years, even though we're humbled by this award, I really truly believe that they deserve this award as well. And I'm so pleased that a number of my team have joined me this evening. Paula Carroll, who's down there, my Director of Sales and Marketing, who's worn shoe leather for over 28 years throughout the world and has done it when it wasn't always easy, although I now tell her that she has probably the easiest job in the world given what has happened in the last couple of years. Mary Flannery, my accommodation manager, Noli, bar manager, Robert Bowe, restaurant manager, Chef Philippe and Elaine Connaughton as well. So I'm absolutely delighted and thrilled that they're with me this evening. You do an incredible job. You make me look good, so thank you. I also want to accept the award on behalf of the Tolman family and also Red Carnation Hotels. On the 1st of June 2013, Stanley Tolman stood in the front steps of Ashford Castle and said he wanted to create the best hotel of its kind in the world, and he really has kept to that promise. And 100 million euro later, we have something which is very, very, very special. But in particular, it's Mrs. Beatrice Tolman, who's the founder and chairman of Red Carnation Hotels. She's the most inspirational hotelier that I've ever met in my life, and she distills her industry down to two very, very basic things, which is if you deliver genuine and generous hospitality to your guests all of the time, but also to your staff all of the time, that you're going to be successful. And it's as simple as that. I think sometimes we overcomplicate this industry, but it's those two very simple fundamental things. Finally, I'd just like to thank the AA, because I suppose it's on the record that it wasn't always easy in Ashford Castle. We went through receiverships, difficult ownerships, but we always looked to the AA and to the standards and the fundamentals of the AA to bring us through those hard times. And it really did hold us in good stead that we did do that, because without it, I don't think we would be here today. And in particular, Declan Connors. And sometimes it felt like we were the D students in a class and the head teacher was coming in watching to see what you were doing at school. But Declan, I really, really appreciate your guidance, your support over the years. And without you, I'm sure that we certainly wouldn't be here. We also understand how important an award this is, and we're not going to take it lightly, and hopefully we'll be a good ambassador for the AA over the next year. We're absolutely thrilled. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Niall. And delighted. A really good news story for a gang who really deserve it. And now I hope Minister Patrick O'Donovan will say a few words to us. Minister, thank you very much.
Thanks, Conor. First of all, I'm delighted to be here. When I was a backbencher, I was a member of the Oireachtas Communications Committee, and we often had RT in. And I said at one particular committee meeting, if it wasn't for the AA places like West Limerick would never get mentioned on the radio. So I wanted to, when the cattle break out in Timperglanton, it was always great to know that the N21 was going to get a mention. So look, I'm delighted to be here. And first of all, I want to thank the AA for the work that they do as an organisation across the board. And you know, Conor outlined and Eoghan outlined there the work that has been done over 100 years in terms of, you know, rating Irish hospitality. But there's also a practical side, and the staff of the organisation, and I was saying to Conor earlier on that I had occasion one time not to know where the lever and the bonnet of a car is. I wouldn't claim to know anything about a car, and I was left stranded on the side of the road one night. Not the most pleasant of experience, and in fairness to the guys that work and ladies that work in the organisation, they do look after you. And I think, you know, you have a lot of staff that are traversing the country in very difficult conditions and out of all types of weather and every type of, you know, condition that they're facing into, and I just like to acknowledge that. From my point of view, look, this has been a great year for Irish tourism, there's no doubt about it. I said to the Taoiseach the other day, record year for Irish tourism, nearly 10 million people visited the island of Ireland, worth 5 billion to the Irish economy, sustaining 230,000 jobs. Coinciding with my appointment, which he thought, and he'd be delighted to know that there's a Mayo All Ireland here tonight as well, and congratulations to the winners and the overall winner, Ashford Castle. So from my point of view, look, we've had a record year, but there are risks out on the horizon, and the biggest is Brexit. And I suppose from all of our point of view, we have to work together, we have to put plans in place, and we have to focus as to how we're going to best manage it. And this is going to involve, you know, us as an industry collaborating to make sure that the market that we've built up, where over 44% of our market comes from Great Britain, that we protect as much of that as possible. And that's going to involve investment in significant government investment through Tourism Ireland and Fáilte Ireland, but I think we're up for the challenge, and certainly I think the industry have, in fairness to them, rallied round as well. And what I would ask is, and the representatives of the industry here this evening, and I want to thank the host, the beautiful venue here in the heart of Dublin, which I want to wish well. But I think the industry needs to be conscious of the fact that you know, this is a time now when instability could cause potentially a lot of damage to an industry that has sustained employment at a time when we needed it. So over the next couple of months, as we work through the negotiations, both within the European Union and collectively as a government with the British government and others, we have to be very conscious of the fact that our single biggest market is Great Britain, and while we are anxious to grow other markets, particularly in North America and emerging markets in New Zealand and Australia and the Far East and everything else, you know, our nearest neighbour is our most valued asset. And in that point, we have to maintain competitiveness. We have to make sure that we don't slip into the heady days of the early noughties, where we didn't have a great reputation, quite frankly, and our product wasn't good. And we have to make sure that we invest in the product and that we keep competitiveness at the centre of everything that we do. And to that end, I think, you know, that the pipeline that Fáilte Ireland tell me in relation to the interest that's out there for the construction of new hotels in Dublin is positive, but we still have a long way to go, and I would urge the industry to make sure that price competitiveness is kept very much to the top of the agenda, because we do not need Ireland to slip backwards in terms of the contribution that is a fantastic industry sustaining over 230,000 jobs. We have invested heavily with brands like the Wild Atlantic Way and Ireland's Ancient East, and we continue to do that. And we will also invest heavily into the future in marketing. And we're at the start of the estimate process now for 2018, a lot earlier than usual. And I can, share, I suppose, the fact that we are very conscious of the fact that this industry has an awful lot to offer. We want to make sure that the investment is continued and that the supports that the government have given by way of reduced VAT, the abolition of the travel tax, and events that were held in the past, like the Gathering, that we're able to replicate those into the future. And we're working with Fáilte Ireland to see, well, what is the next big thing that can capture the public's imagination, particularly in Britain and in our other near markets in Northern Europe and elsewhere. So look, tonight is a night for the industry really to kick back and enjoy and celebrate what has been a great year. And I want, on behalf of the government, to thank everybody in the industry. Ye all are front of house not only for your establishments but for Ireland Inc. Ye are ambassadors, and ye are in a lot of cases the first port of call that people will engage with when they come into the island of Ireland. And from that point of view, it's hugely important that the skill set that Conor referred to and the level of expertise, the approach that's there, the professionalism, the standard of food, the standard of the facilities, and all of the ancillary works that are done is to the highest possible standard. We have unquestionably one of the best tourist products in the world. And if you look at it, we CSO figures are out today, 4.8 million people in the Republic and about 1,700,000 odd in Northern Ireland, and yet 10 million people visited the island last year. As I often say, it would be the equivalent of 2 billion people visiting India on an annual basis. So it shows you the quantum. It shows the quantum of what it is. But we have ambition, and we want to drive that ambition. We want to get the total figure up to 12 million, and we want to get the total employment up to 250,000, and that's very achievable. And I actually think that we will exceed that far in excess of 2025, which was laid out in our policy, people placing policy. But look, from my part, from the government's part, I want to thank you for the work that you do, to assure you of our continued support. I have the best job in politics, bar none. I have tourism and sport, and part of my job for St. Patrick's Day was Australia and New Zealand, and there's a couple of people here with me in Fort Lauderdale and Miami and Atlanta, a fortnight before that. And as I keep saying, it's a tough job. But I really enjoy working with this industry. I really enjoy being an advocate for the industry. And the reason that I do that is because every time I sit down and I engage with people like yourselves, I can see that there is a refreshing amount of good in this industry. The Taoiseach used the word in the election. I won't use it, but I'm glad to see that there is none of that within the Irish tourism and hospitality industry. There is a can-do attitude amongst people like yourselves, and on that basis, as a government representative, we're delighted to support you. We will continue to support you because you are one of our two indigenous industries that dragged us back from the mire in 2011, and for that we really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister, for those wonderful words. Thank you very much.
So, and finally, Declan Connors, who drives the length and breadth of the country all year round, monitoring and advising each establishment. His passion for the hospitality industry is evident in everything that he does, and we are very, very lucky to have him on our team. So thank you, Declan. Concludes the proceedings. All that's left to say is relax, enjoy yourself, and have a drink or three.
Thank you very much, one and all. Thank you.